There we go. Thursday, the 1st of June, gents.
Where's the year gone?
Yeah, we are flying through 2023. I'm sat in the office. Looks like I'm growing something pink, but I assure you it's just a bit of mood effect lighting. Mike's got a little bit of avocado brand across the face after a weekend of sunshine, I think, haven't you?
Well, yesterday stuck on a boat when I got lost. That's what happens in half term.
You need to do beat the portals next time you're on a boat. See if you can do beat the waters. It's an option.
I won't be going on a ride for a while, mate.
Ricky's the healthiest of us all because he's in his gym, doing his live call from his gym, which I absolutely love. What a place to work! A fit and healthy mind makes a good estate agent. That's not a saying, but I've just created it. So
yeah.
There we go. We'll have it. Mike's got the new branded notebook over his right shoulder as well. There, yeah, love that. And then Ricky's obviously wearing the hoodie. So, yeah, it's the 1st of June. What's going on with the property market, gents? Well, we're going to give you a little bit of a wrap up today on exactly that. If you're watching live and you've got questions for us, drop them in the comments, and we will answer those as we're going through this approximately 30-minute convo. If you can hear us, please give us a little thumbs up, just so that we know people are out there in the background. We are streaming across multiple different channels, so it's always great to hear from people in the background, even if you can't stick around for the whole thing. The first thing that I think is probably a good place to start, chaps, is mortgage rates. People are always interested in mortgage rates. This week has bucked the trend of what we've seen for most of this year, where rates have been gradually dropping, but we've seen quite a significant jump in mortgage rates this year. So I'm just wondering, is that being discussed with any buyers? Is that too early to kind of tell? Have sellers mentioned it at all? Or is it just the brokers that are really getting that information that the banks and lenders have just put them up? Ricky, anything from your conversations this week on that?
No major concerns from buyers or sellers just yet. Obviously, there are slight concerns in the respect of some of the lenders pulling rates and actually pulling out of the market. But I'm a firm believer that, yes, okay, you might be paying the best part of £200-300 more than what you might have been paying a couple of years ago. But in terms of the actual repayments or interest-only deals that are out there, still going to be far greater than renting.
Yeah, I think you can either afford it and you make it work, or you can't. One thing that has been astonishing to me, though, is the amount of sales that across that whole avocado group that we've got at the moment is the most that have ever been sold since we launched 3 years ago. So really I'd say since Easter, the market seems to have been really, much stronger than maybe what a lot of people anticipated. It's not the craziness that we've experienced in the 2 years of the pandemic, but it does feel to me a property can go on and it can be under offer within, a week or two of its marketing, Mike, can't it, at the moment?
Yeah, I think on mortgage rates going up, I've had one today, but higher up, so 520,000, but they're trying to renegotiate by £10,000, and that's because of these mortgage rates going up. And lower down, sort of in the first-time buyer area, I don't see it hasn't changed at all. I don't think the lower end of the ladder, particularly in High Wycombe, anyway, there's a lot of activity. 2-bed flat, 2-bed house, a lot of activity. It hasn't affected it, but the higher in price you go, that's where we're seeing the effect.
I've definitely noticed more sold boards up at the moment than I have done all year. In fact, more boards in general seem to be up. Just generally speaking, it's three things going up, really, is what I see. Is there's more listings, there's more sales, and the rates this week have gone up. But I don't think it's anything drastic to worry about. I just think it's one of those things that we're going to see this year, because we're just in a bit of a weird place at the moment, aren't we? We've got kind of politicians playing their cards. We've got banks kind of unsure what's going on with X, Y, and Z. But generally speaking, there's still a huge shortage of property. And that seems to be what's happening. As Mike shows us, the sun is out and the weather is looking good. So Any tips, chaps, for people at the moment? Everything's quite green. Everything's in bloom as well. So what are the tips for people that are having their property photographed and videoed? Let's just do a couple around the room. So starting with you, Mike, what would you say is your number one tip as someone going out there and doing the video himself?
First impressions. So make sure the frontage of whatever property you've got, flat, house, the grass, make sure it looks pretty. That first impression when people are turning up and ringing the doorbell or knocking on the door, do whatever you can to do that. Clean the gutter, I guess. Wash the windows, little simple things.
I was going to say the windows was mine, I think, because you can really see it now, can't you? So getting the windows done inside and out does make it, just has a general feel of just, I guess, cleanliness and just a little bit kind of more fresh in reality. Ricky, what about yourself?
De-weed.
I did the drive the other day. I got a brick paved drive, so I had to do all of the little bits in the middle.
Sand it as well.
Makes a big difference. I didn't get around to sanding it, just killed the weeds and took the grass out. Yeah.
Makes a huge difference.
It's not like it had loads of grass growing across it, by the way. It's just like tiny little bits. Not like some feral driveway. But yeah, that makes a big difference. So, Mike, coming to you, what's the kind of general market? Give us a bit of a High Wycombe overview for a couple of minutes. How are you finding things in general? What's in demand? What's surprising you? What's going on with the agents? What are sellers saying? Give us an overview.
Writing it down. Well, now there's so many partners on these live chats. I haven't been on for a while. So in the last few months, the whole of the year has been quite a steady. Everything's been selling all year long. April for me was a really busy month, like really busy, where I sold every house and everything started selling and going. May then slowed down, I think, for bank holidays, coronations, people off work. It just tends to slow down a little bit. And then when it's slowed down, other estate agents, obviously with their targets to meet, have really started overpricing property to get them on the market, like huge.
Ricky, you're nodding on that. We were talking about this last week about agents seem to have not taken the cream off. You know, the cream was there, wasn't it, a little bit, but they just seem to have left it there. Are you finding the same?
Actually, there's been 20 less price reductions in Stevenage in May in comparison to April. So, yeah, the hard work from these agents chipping properties down and the over-regging the initial outset might have actually done the work in April to actually get them under offer. We see 112 properties go under offer in May, and we see 113 go under offer in April. So not too dissimilar figures, of course. So we're not seeing a great difference in the market. Still, things are very buoyant. People still need to upsize, downsize, move for schools, move for work. If they can't afford Hatfield, they're buying Stevenage. If they can't afford in St Albans, they're buying Hitchin. If they can't afford Radlett, they move to Welling. It's just we're in such a fortunate area where it's so easy to get into London and there's great schools nearby.
Nice. What else is going on, Mike, in High Wycombe at the moment, other than a bit of overpricing?
Well, overpricing. If you look in like HP15 as a postcode today, nearly all the properties that are on there added in the last 24 hours are reduced. Loads of them.
Wow.
Loads of them. Yeah. I did a little, I did my market update for May and I tried to cram it all into 90 seconds. But I found myself going on a rant about people overpricing property. I'll post that next week. It's just some silly.
Did you do a separate rant?
Yeah, I've edited it. I had to cut myself out. A house at 100 grand overpriced. 100 grand, and when it's on 800, that's silly. But buoyant, lower down, first time buyers in High Wycombe, Hazelmere, Penn. Two bedroom flats, 2-bedroom houses is a buoyant market. A 3-bedroom house that I listed last week in High Wycombe had no viewings over bank holiday weekend because it was sunny and it was bank holiday weekends. This coming weekend, I've got 10 viewings booked in already on it.
Wow, that's a massive difference from one weekend to the next with no change on marketing.
Yeah, funny, isn't it? Yeah, just holiday weekend.
Yeah,
all first time buyers. Everybody viewing it, first time buyer.
They're the dominants, aren't they? I think we saw the stat was reported, I think it was last month, and they said Zoopla is they in this context, 39% or no 36% of all transactions in 2023 was first time buyers, which was the bulk of transactions. So over a third of transactions at the moment, and that includes people upsizing. You know, most sales involve a chain, don't they, of some sort, but 36%.
Just on that point as well,
yeah,
how many of those are going to be cash buyers? So they're still needing to get mortgages, and they're still confident that it's still the right time to buy. Do they want to stay at home with maybe mum and dad, or do they want to get on the ladder? In Stevenage, prices within the last 2 years have clearly gone up by about 15%. So no one's moaning about moving in the last year or two. If they're going to be there for 5-10 years, they're going to be laughing. Oh, my voice was very high pitched there.
You really passionately felt about that.
Exactly.
I'll share a screen with everyone because it's an article that's actually come out this morning. Everyone see that, right? So it's Sky News, you know. So yeah, I always look at Sky News and BBC and think, right, you know, they're the two dominant news portals, channels, whatever you want to call them at the moment. But the news around this is, you know, obviously this heavy clickbait title here. But the reality is that what we're talking about is May to May. So May last year to May this year. House prices have fallen by 3.4% year on year. And just kind of in context of that, we've seen this mini budget. We've seen the market really for 3 months. It didn't implode. It disappeared. And there was 40% worth of sales agreed in December were withdrawn. So there's a big sort of hit. I think we've all kind of agreed that probably prices have corrected by about 10, 11, 12% off the asking price. So actually to see 3.4% year on year drop is not really a lot in the context of the fact that over the pandemic, they went up 25, maybe even 30%, depending on where you live. But they just dress it up with such this heavy clickbait. And the fact that it's the worst, you know, since the last 14 years and, you know, really dress it. It's quite a heavy, detailed article, but, you know, it's kind of, for me, it's just a bit crazy the way they dress these things up. And it puts people off sometimes as well. I know a lot more people have started saying we're not really fussed about the news, but, you know, I read that one this morning and I just thought...
Though, isn't it, from our perspective?
You what, sorry?
That's old news from our perspective, where Nationwide are getting that data from. But you could also put up the right move where they said that it was the record house prices. That was their latest thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's conflicting stories. There are conflicting stories, and these news articles sell newspapers. So I put it down to clickbait and the fact that it's nationally, not specifically for me, Hertfordshire and Stevenage in particular. We all work in areas where people want to move to. Yeah,
it's a funny old world, you know. And I think you've just got to be in contact with your agents, like, you know, Mike and Ricky here, myself, and the other avocado group in your local area, and stay on the socials, because most agents at Avocado are getting their market updates out probably next week or this weekend. Mike said he's done his. Stuart was in the office today doing his. I got mine penciled in for tomorrow. And it does make a big difference because we really do put a lot of time and effort into localizing these market updates. So interesting to hear what's going on there in High Wycombe. Ricky, for you, what else is going on in terms of trends? You mentioned obviously this cycle of where people have got different levels of affordability. It's almost like a league table. Which league are you playing in? Talking of league tables, how did your football shirt competition go?
Oh, I thought you was about to talk about Arsenal, but
no, I wouldn't be that harsh to talk about Arsenal Hotspur.
The shirt competition has gone mental. It's really gone well beyond expectations.
Do you want to give everyone a little bit of an idea of what you've got running at the moment?
Well, the competition's over now, I'm afraid. Closed last night. Winner will be announced on Sunday evening. But no, my best man, and I'm soon to be his best man, is Luke Norris, which is Stevenage Borough's number 9, who's got them promoted this season and helped them get out of relegation last season. And he's signed a Stevenage shirt for me, which is going to be given to one lucky winner on Sunday night.
So what league are they in now?
They're in League One now.
League One, big time. Stevenage, big time.
Big clubs in League One. Really big
and
clubs.
Obviously, Luton just round the corner promoted as well. Are they big rivals to Stevenage? Is that a derby?
Not so much, because they're not particularly in the same leagues or haven't been for quite some time. But no, there is still a derby. Still a derby because it's local.
Mike, did you see this? Did you see the Luton ground where you've got to do a beat the portals live through a house, through the gardens to get into the ground? I want to do a video on that.
It's honestly mad. I've been there.
I'll be in the state agent down there who does an open day when there's a day.
You get 2 boards out either side of that entrance. You're winning, aren't you? What have you got bubbling at the moment, Mike? Listing wise, what's High Wycombe, Penn, Hazelmere? What's on the agenda in Mike Child's Beat the Portals lives coming soon?
I listed a house just on social media, so it's just on my socials. I posted the video on it yesterday. It's a 4-bed detached, Charles Church build, really good value for money. It's just on at the right money. So I'm going to go live on that fully on Monday, just waiting for half term to finish.
Yeah.
So I imagine that will have an open house. Well, it will do. And that amount of inquiries I'll be expecting to get on that for next week. I've got a gated 3-bedroom townhouse coming on in the middle of the town centre this coming Saturday, having sold one at the beginning part of the year in January. So that should go off really well. Couple of lower down 1 and 2 bedroom flats coming on the market next week. I just know there's a market for them. If they're on the right money and the lease is, sensible lease, there's a market there. I know they just get inquiries straight away. Seem to, yeah, albeit first-time buyers. I haven't seen an investment buyer for a while, but first-time buyers will do it.
Yeah, investing, it's a funny one, the investing world. I mean, Ricky touched on it and said, regardless of what rates are doing, that renting is still more, and the rental prices are just out of control at the moment. It's the shortage of rental properties is alarming for first-time buyers and for tenants, because if you leave your property, getting into another property is very, very difficult at the moment. Is there much to let at the moment, Mike, in High Wycombe?
No, I did a 2-bedroom flat, which went for $12.50, which I had to stop the viewings because it was close to 30 viewings. And a 3-bedroom house in Widmer End, which is one of the villages just to the north of High Wycombe. 3-bedroom house, nice road, $16.50. Again, I had to stop the viewings because there were so many inquiries, and there were people willing to go above sort of the $16.50, the marketing price, try and secure it because there's nothing on. There's no choice.
Yep.
Or the choice that is out there is not very good. It's just overpriced and not very nice houses that people don't want to let.
Ricky, you got a lettings background. You've done many years in lettings. Have you seen a market like this before with this little properties available?
It's honestly bonkers. It's absolutely mad. Like I said, Chalkdown that I moved in on Friday had 66 inquiries. So over the bank holiday weekend, I must have done about 15, 16 viewings. And that's obviously I've been trading for 3-4 months now. That's my first rental move in. And every single viewing I was doing, a lot of the tenants were saying, "Oh, we've inquired on this and it's gone. We've inquired on this and it's gone." That doesn't surprise me. What one thing that is surprising me, however, is I'm finding that I just get the impression that a lot of the agents locally are kind of just going with first come, first serve. Whereas that's never been the way I work. For me, it's about moving a tenant into a property I'd move into my own home. Hence why I've done 2 days of block viewings there. But yeah, it just seems that the agents are literally just trying to get the asking price for the landlord and kind of sling anyone in there, really. Well, blimey, if I was to have done that, I could have let chalk down 10, 15 times over.
Yeah, and there doesn't seem to be a sign of them stopping the prices, because sometimes we list one, I think, oh, that's a bit much, but the demand is there, and then you're getting another 200 quid on top of that, and it just feels, and the tenant's okay with it because they don't want to lose out, and you almost feel like, wow, that's too much money. They've got to do something about it, because landlords, we did a podcast recently, and the amount of landlords that are hitting retirement age at the moment is resulting in huge amounts of sales to purchasers. So it's up to like 3 to 1 at the moment, 3 sales of an investment to 1 purchase. And obviously there's a huge shortage for tenants anyway, which makes it harder for first time buyers, because if they're renting and they're paying more. I was talking to someone today actually that that is looking, well, it's a totally different conversation. It was a contact of mine that's a videographer, but he's looking to rent at the moment, and the plan was he's going to rent for 12 months and then buy. But he doesn't want to spend more than £1,000 really, and he's probably going to have to spend 1,300, he reckons. And that eats a lot of his savings for the year before he buys. So yeah. It is crazy. Ricky, what have you got bubbling? What should we look out for on the socials over the next couple of weeks?
So I've got a 3-bedroom end of terrace property coming on the market again in Great Ashby. 2 reception, 3-bed, 2 bath, off-street parking, nice area of Great Ashby. Can't imagine that would take too long to be under offer. Got a 3-bedroom cottage cropping up in the next couple of days, hopefully. Again, close to good schools, plenty of off-street parking. The ideal bit of stock that I want to attract, really, because that's what the families are going crazy for. Grenville Way that we've got on the market, which is a 4-bed detached at 625. Got a second viewing on that on Saturday, so hopefully that'll be under offer, touch wood, by the weekend. I'm pleased with the way that things are going.
And your first business transaction went through since launching as well, just the other day. So congratulations on that. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it certainly makes all the hard work certainly feel worth it. But yeah, it's the first of many, I'm hoping.
First of many. So first sale and let, by the sounds of it, that's gone through, which is great.
That was the first let. Hopefully the first sale will be exchanging, completing in the next week or 2.
Nice. So we've got Stuart, one of the agents at Avocado Maidenhead. Evening, gents. Not property specific. Michael, Ricky, do you think who do you think was the most underperforming Premier League? I've got a feeling, seeing that I saw him,
Directed Warmacker,
potentially a little bit directed towards me.
Of course it is.
So yeah.
Was it bottom half? You finished bottom half?
I think we'll all agree it was Leeds, but yeah.
Wasn't good.
Trojan horse mentality from Chelsea, just giving everyone a false sense of security. Bang, no competitions to play in next year. If you want some easy money and you're not getting it from mortgage rates, get on Paddy Power, put a few quid on Chelsea to win the Premier League next year. That's all I'm going to say.
No
Investment
chance.
advice from Ian Macbeth.
Lukaku back, goal scorer.
We got Kyle who's watching on LinkedIn. He's saying, "Well done, Ricky."
Cheers, mate.
So, yeah, good to see. Mike, what else is going on in your world? What else is going on in the property world? What sort of conversation you having? Any challenges that you're facing at the moment?
Challenges, yeah, really. Well, certainly in May, just other estate agents who have their targets to hit, and I think we all probably talk about it too much, but coming up against people who are just overinflating the prices, even when there's evidence and lots of it. Like you'll see in my rant, the house that is on the market for 800,000, there was a much bigger house last year in the same road at 740. Last year at 740.
This has got your.
Oh, it really annoyed me. Like that poor homeowner, she'll never sell. She'll be there next year. Just ridiculous. And I'd love to know what examples he pulled out of that.
Messes with people, doesn't it? Messes with their lives when they're budgeting, 60, 75 grand, 100 grand in the wrong way.
It's funny you say that as well. So I've been talking to a few vendors recently that when they've been on the sofa with 3-4 agents, they haven't been shown a Rightmove Plus report. All they've seen is comparisons of properties that the agent is listing themselves, not even ones in which they've had under offer, or not even ones in which they've completed on. So they're not really getting a good insight of what is selling within a quarter of a mile. They're sometimes seeing comparisons of 5 beds when there's a 3 bed.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ones in which are 500-600 square foot bigger.
I did a YouTube video and a blog that people will be able to see on the website or on our YouTube channel. And it's 7 killer questions to ask an estate agent on a valuation. And I don't feel that clients ask the right questions on valuations a lot of the time. And I think it's just because it's quite overwhelming having, 2, 3, 4 estate agents come out to, you're looking for a valuation and to roughly get a feel of who you want to use. They're looking to come out and do a sales pitch. And it can be quite overwhelming, but there's a blog where I put 7 key questions. And some of the things that I think people should ask estate agents are things like, what are you going to do if the property isn't selling? What's your B plan? To see an agent squirm a little bit and give them the B plan. What are you actually going to do? And also to ask the question, if there's one thing in my property or about my property that you've seen that would stop it selling, what would it be? Ask these difficult questions to the estate agent to really get an idea. Ask them who's going to be conducting the appointments, because for your home, if you're going to get your home staged for viewings, staged for photos and video, and then you're going to tidy up for half an hour for each viewing, you want to know that the person conducting that appointment understands your goals, why you're moving, all of the little bits that you've done to upgrade the property, all the little wins that you told the valuer on that particular first port of call with that agent. You want to know that they're going to relay that to the potential viewer, because there's a lot of hard work that goes into getting a viewing, marketing and everything else involved. So who's doing it? Is it a weekender? Is it a trainee? Or is it the person in front of you? Ask that question, find out who's going to be your point of contact from start to finish. Is there a specific individual you're going to talk to? Anyway, 7 killer questions, check it out. And that will definitely help people, because I think we need to educate the public on the questions to ask estate agents to help them not fall into the trap of being wrapped up in a 4 to 5 to 6 month contract in some cases. Mike, you did a rant, and I did a little bit of a post rant the other day as well. It was a photo and then text, but the question was around price reductions. And I'm keen to get your feedback, both of you, on this. If an agent has valued a property at X and marketed it at X, and then in 4 or 5 weeks' time, they're asking for it to come down to Y. If they haven't valued it at that price, they actually said, no, I think we'll get you this. And then 4 or 5 weeks later ask for a price reduction. Should the contract be null and void? Should the contract be voided? It's different if they've said, I think it's 350, and the seller says, can we try at 375? And they say, yes, but in 6 weeks, we've got to review it. But if they've said it's 375 and I'll get you 375, and 4 or 5 weeks later, they're saying it needs to come down to 350, which may be a good, true, honest agent like you, Mike, had said is worth 350. Should the contract be void and then free to go? What do you think, Ricky?
I think it would get the market moving a lot quicker, rather than we know the stats about the second agent selling properties, that there's a vast majority that do sell second time round. No, I think that's a fair point. I really do. If an agent's going in and knows that 2-3 other agents have been around before, and they're probing to ask what the other agents have said, and they're going in at 10-15 grand more to win the business and over promising and under delivering, yeah, I think very much so. If they're asking a month or so down the line for it to come down in price, I think there's a case that, yeah, that sole agency agreement should be ripped up.
And Mike, at the end of the day, it's up to the client. They don't have to go with another agent, but if the agent voids the contract and they're happy with the agent, they stay with them. But if they think they've been swindled, then they've got the ability to maybe go elsewhere. What do you think?
I think in some circumstances, like you've just said, that it might be they're selling because they're divorcing and they want to try a higher price. That's usually the case. I think that's fair enough. Then you have to move the price, or difficult market conditions, you might have to move the price slightly. There's an app that I've got on my Chrome. When you go on Rightmove, it tracks all the price, so you can see the price reductions. And there are estate agents in High Wycombe. I won't call them out. In fact, I put some of those graphics onto my market update. A property will come on at 600 and reduce a week later by 50 grand. How can that be right? That's one. That's not just one. That's multiple times that happens. Or on at 550 and drops down to 500. You know, and in such a short space of time, yeah, that contract, you should just be able to phone and cancel that contract.
Yeah.
It's BS, isn't it?
Ian, can you do me a favour?
Yeah.
Can you have a look at the screenshot in which I've just emailed you? And that is a prime example of what Mike's just touched on. It's bonkers of what that agent is doing for that client, and the poor advice as well in the respect of the price reductions too. Some of them aren't even reduced by 2%. So they're not being mail merged out to people who have set up an alert, and they're not going back to the top of the page on all of the portals, which I'm sure we all agree are typically the best thing about a price reduction. People get that alert and it goes back to the top of the pages. But some of these price reductions in which you'll see on this screenshot aren't even within 2%. And the way I look at it is, some buyers might think that, right, okay, it started at 332 and a half, come down to 320, went from 320 to 317 and a half, 317 to 315, 315 to 310. I would imagine that some buyers are probably going to be thinking that, all right, well, let's hold on another week or so, and it'll probably come down to 3.5, 3.10.
I mean, that is mental.
Crazy.
Every month, and in the month of March twice. And do you know what the worst thing about that is? None of them even sit. Only one of them sit in the percentage that actually sends the alert out. Which, you know, in itself is crazy, because it means you're reducing it, but it's not getting sent out at all. Yeah, I mean, it's clearly empty, isn't it? So something's being done incorrectly there. Obviously, there are other estate agents in Stevenage, namely Ricky Veal being a particular one. So we'll shut that off. But yeah, that's happening everywhere, isn't it? And it's mental. You know, that's crazy. It blows my mind. Well, feels like we've had a solid rant on pricing, plus offered the public some value in terms of how to hopefully stop it with key questions. But just don't fall for that trap. That's the key question, isn't it? Don't fall for that trap. So next week we're back 6 o'clock, right into the thick of June, as we spend our last month before we hit the half-time mark of this year. The Premier League and football season is over. I think we've got the Women's World Cup to look forward to, I think, this summer, if you want to get your football fix. So there's a little bit going on there. I have made a bet with Stuart Bock, double or quits. We had 50 quid last season on who finishes above each other out of Chelsea and Liverpool. I think he's entered into a double or quits. So I'm going to get that 50 quid back. which I'm looking forward to. So, yeah, Mike, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Well, just with the lovely weather that's out there, if you have had your property on the market since the spring, make sure you get your estate agent back around to retake those photographs. They've got no excuse. But there's a lot of lazy ones who just can't be bothered.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone can find me a property with snow in the images, please send it to me. I'd love to see it. There will be one out there. I guarantee it. There'll be one out there. Ricky, anything to add up before you pop off for your? Are you going for your yoga class? Did you say from the gym?
I've been pushing weights already, so no, I'm done for the day. No, I kind of echo what Mike says with regards to nice blue sky front shots. I went to one earlier on today that it's really shaded to the front. Just obviously the agent has gone to the property when it's shaded at the front. Well, just pop back there at the morning or afternoon when it's got the sun behind it. It's just small little details make a huge difference. And what Stuart said, I'll have 50 quid of you on Arsenal going above Chelsea again next year.
Oh, I didn't have it on Arsenal, but I think Arsenal are done now. I think Arsenal Europa Conference at best next season.
It's harsh.
Well, I think it's just, it's a bit Leicester-y to me, the Arsenal thing, but without the title, obviously. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Mike, do you want to get in on this?
No, not interested.
Apparently, I'm just throwing 50 quids out for fun at the moment. Anyway, right. Have a lovely week, everybody. And definitely any questions you've got for us, you can still drop them in the comments, even if we're not live. We will see them, and we'll be back next week. If you want to follow Mike in the High Wycombe area, then just tap in Michael Child's Avocado. It will pop up. We'll see his rant tomorrow. I think he said he's releasing that tomorrow, so we'll check that out. And if you want to obviously check out Ricky and his avocado car, then Avocado Stevenage, I think, is your URL, isn't it? Yeah, Avocado Stevenage. Have a good week, everyone.